You're watching the BackPageLead Vidcast. I'm Jonathan Howcroft and I'm joined by Wayne Carey to look ahead to this weekend's games. The standout for this weekend, although Sydney and West Coast might disagree, will be a replay of last year's grand final with Geelong and Collingwood. It looks to me as if Collingwood should go in reasonably confident this time, particularly considering Geelong will be without James Bartel.
Well, you said that last week. Collingwood v Carlton, and I said, did I not? I said Carlton, don't be surprised if Carlton get up in that game. Once again, don't be surprised if the Cats get up. The Cats haven't been playing great footy, but we know what they're capable of. Collingwood got upset last week. You'd expect them to bounce back. Off the back of pure form, I think you'd have to lean towards Collingwood off the back of that. But once again, would not be surprised. I reserve my right to tip one in this particular game until such time as I know everyone that's playing on Thursday. But right at this early stage, I'll probably tip Collingwood. But it's a ripping game. Probably missing one that's a huge game in context of the 8, and that's Carlton Kangaroos on Friday night. That's a huge one. Kangaroos once again had their chances, had a good lead to beat West Coast on the weekend. Let themselves down. They have they're just must wins for both these clubs. So this is a huge game. Carlton were terrific last week, so really looking forward to Friday night footy. Once again, I'm going to reserve the right to tip. I think this will be another really close one. So I think it'll go down to the wire.
The Kangaroos pioneered the Friday night footy in the AFL, yet they now only get one, maybe two Friday nights around. How big a deal is it for the Kangaroos?
Oh, look, we pioneered Friday football, but as the AFL says, I suppose until such time as you're playing really good footy and you're drawing a crowd, a TV audience, and also a live audience, the Friday night games are going to go to those clubs that are doing exactly that. The Kangaroos hopefully are on the verge of that. They've played some terrific footy this year, so if they continue to do that and they make the 8 this year, I think we might see them on the Friday night calendar a lot more, and they're the simple facts. I think the AFL's made that quite clear, and I think that's fair enough. But we certainly did pioneer it, and I think this might be the second Friday night game for the Kangaroos this year, which is one more than last year.
The top of the table will feature West Coast and Sydney going into this round. One of them will probably still be there at the end of it, based on percentage. It's over at Patterson Stadium, where West Coast have won their last 18, but they haven't beaten Sydney since 2007. Who do you fancy going into this?
Yeah, look, big game. I think West Coast at home. I don't think you can go past them. Patterson Stadium is a big ground. I think they play that ground obviously better than anyone else. For those simple reasons, I'll go just home ground advantage only. Sydney Swans have done nothing wrong. I think they've been probably the surprise packet, along with Essendon. Although there's through injury there's a few chinks in that armour, and also maybe the drop off of Carlton. But Sydney for me have been the really big story. I mean, where they're sitting on the ladder is just unbelievable. I think every year we tip them to slide. They're not sliding, and would not surprise if they got over West Coast, but I think the home ground advantage gives them the nod.
How important is it for a guy like Adam Goodes to come in back at this time of year? He's had 6 or 7 weeks off. He should be rested, you would hope. His first break in a decade. What kind of impact can you see something like him having heading into the finals? Well,
he's had 2 weeks. He's 2 weeks back now from his injury, and he hasn't set the world on fire. But you wouldn't expect that. He'll probably take another week or so to get back to his best. But he's hugely important to Sydney Swans. They're a better side with him in. But they prove that they're a very good side without him as well. They're no one-trick pony. It's not a case of no goods, no swans. He's very good. He'll make them better. But like I said, give him a bit of time to get back to some form.
The obvious mismatch of the round is Adelaide taking on the Giants. It raises a question about the draw for me. Adelaide played GWS, Gold Coast, Melbourne, Port Adelaide twice this season. Do you think that the AFL should do something to even the draw for sides like Adelaide when they get such a significant advantage?
Oh yeah, and I think the draw is always going to be open to conjecture, and it is an unfair draw, simple as that, because we don't play each other twice or once for that matter. So you're going to have situations like this. I think back to last year, Kangaroos had a terrible draw. This year they get both of those sides twice. I think more importantly, when you play GWS in the second half of the year is when you're getting the real advantage. I mean, we saw that Greater Western Sydney right now are tired. Their young kids are tired. We know that they've got those older players. They're probably getting a bit tired too. I mean, they were a tired outfit. We know that they got flogged on the weekend by 160 plus points. I think we'll see another couple of floggings before the year's out. One might be this week. They have a go, but they're just out on their legs right now. So to answer your question, it is unfair, but cop it on the chin, move on, get on with it.
Finally, where can we hear you this weekend?
On Triple M. Actually, I've got the Saturday afternoon game, so I'm changing with Big Spud Frawley this week. So I think I'm doing the Saturday afternoon game. I don't even know who it is just yet. You've caught me on the hop, Jonathan. Thanks very much. That's all right. But no, it'll be on Triple M anyway on Saturday, and I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good round of footy.
It should, and a genuinely even round apart from that GWS Adelaide. A lot of. I think I was reading 3 home sides are underdogs against interstate. Yeah. So Brisbane, St Kilda, Melbourne, Fremantle, and a third which I can't remember. So yeah, it should be some decent contests this week.
Yeah, no, it should be good. Looking forward to it.
Thank you very much, Wayne Carey.
Cheers. Thanks, Jonathan.